In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Imperial Stormtrooper for the Vintage Collection. He's VC 140 and it's based upon the Stormtrooper's appearance from Rogue One. I pretty much have talked about this action figure before if you have seen my Stormtrooper 4-pack of the Troop Builder sets for the TVC line. But this Stormtrooper definitely deserves his own individual video for his actual VC number. And there are some very slight differences. Mostly it's the type of plastic that was used. I'm noticing that a lot of people that got the original VC 140 Stormtrooper, oftentimes those action figures yellow, and a few of mine have as well. I don't have them here right now. I tried to take a sample of one of those 140 Stormtroopers that I have that have not yellowed yet, and I still have a few. I think it depended on the batch that you ended up getting. If you got it a little bit later on after it was initially released, I think those ones didn't yellow as much compared to the first rounds of them that were made. But let me know in the comments if you have any ideas about that. That seems to be what I can gather from it so far. So I would argue as well that this is the action figure that put TVC 2.0 back on the map and gave it some traction, and it signaled that the line was going to be around for a long time. It seemed like leading up to this Stormtrooper release, we were only getting a couple action figures and most of the offerings were not really that exciting for most people. But I think this was the first one that people were genuinely interested in and bought multiples of, and it didn't seem like demand could really be met for this action figure. And then of course within a year we ended up getting the Mandalorian, and I think that just solidified everything. So a lot of people were probably led to believe that this Stormtrooper is the original of his tooling. It's actually not the case. It's actually the Minban Stormtrooper right here. So he's mostly borrowing the body from the Minban Trooper here. And then he is borrowing the head, I think, from the 5POA Rogue One Stormtrooper from around 2016, I think. So in a way, this Stormtrooper is pretty much a repaint and a kit bash. But despite all that, it still feels like an entirely new action figure. It's great sculpting work. It's still one of the best Stormtroopers you can get. In some ways, I would argue it's even better than the more recent original trilogy Stormtrooper. And yes, he doesn't have the rocker ankles, but he can actually accommodate a stand, which for me is a huge deal. That's something with the rocker ankles, of course, they don't have a deep enough hole usually at the back of their foot. So it's kind of tricky to get those guys to stand sometimes. And even though the rocker ankles does help their stability a lot, I still like having that extra support with the stand. Does have a shiny armor on him, kind of has a gloss, looks pretty good. At some point I will get all my Rogue One Stormtroopers together and do a collection video for those. I think I have somewhere in the realms of like 20 or 25 of them. I thought this was going to end up being our definitive Stormtrooper, so I ended up loading up on a whole bunch of them back in 2019 and 20. And then, of course, the Troop Builder sets added several more to that as well. It doesn't have the holster, and that is specific to Rogue One. Although a lot of people forget that in the original trilogy, there are times where you see the Stormtroopers without holster as well. Specifically on Tantive 4. And then he does have the beveled ends here. It is super articulated. It does have that barbell, I think, at the head. And the hinge shoulders, elbows. The elbows do go past 90. The hinge wrists. This one goes in and out. This one goes up and down. The joint, the torso, and then the hinge hips, swivel thigh, and hinge knees, and hinge ankles. And for accessories, it just has his E11. This is the one that has the, I think it's often called the flashlight on the side here. It does have some silver paint just above the stock there. And you can get this guy in a lot of nice poses. I would say between the Troop Builder sets and the regular carded action figure, the carded ones have much better paint apps. The Troop Builder sets is very sloppy along the mouth, sometimes the brow. There was misaligned. Maybe even the lenses weren't painted very good. So if paint apps are a concern for you, I would say stick with the carded action figure. And here he is with the original trilogy one. Very similar in many ways. The lenses are a little more narrow on the 231 Stormtrooper. Of course, he has the holster there. And then the rocker ankles. I think that's pretty much all I can really tell you about the Rogue One Stormtrooper here. Just kind of bring out some of the evolution of the TVC Stormtroopers. It's the VC 171, I think. And then we'll bring out one of the earlier ones. It's VC 41, I think. Stormtroopers definitely come a long way over the years. Happy to have various samples of all these in my collection. So would I recommend the VC 140 for your collection? I definitely would. Yeah, even if you already have a bunch of this guy and a bunch of these, I would still recommend them. In fact, having all four of these side by side, you can tell that the white is a little bit off on him. Wouldn't say he's yellow, but it's definitely an off-white. Notice that more here. But it's still a great Stormtrooper, still one of the best you can get. Like I said, well, I noted all the points that I kind of like about this one more than the original trilogy one. You can combine a stand, which is a big bonus for me. But I know some people wouldn't really settle for anything less than rocker ankles at this point, and the holster is a big deal for a lot of people. I prefer the Stormtrooper with the holster as well, but it is nice having some variety of Stormtroopers that don't have it. But yeah, it's just a great Stormtrooper. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for playing more in the future. There's always more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your support, and check out the links in the description if you haven't done so already. And as always, thanks for watching.